This guy gets zero criticism ever. Ever. I'm talking about Sean McVay. This guy is also 5-6 this year, and no one will say a damn word about him. He's great because he won one Super Bowl, as if Todd Bowles didn't win one and Doug Peterson didn't win, but he won one Super Bowl with freaking Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford, Andrew Whitworth, Cooper Kupp. He won one, and this dude is freaking untouchable. I don't have a question right now. I was just going to go on a rant about why I don't like Matthew. Matthew Stafford's fine. Sean McVay is not. But you guys can say what you want, and then I'll go later. Am I just being emotional here? Am I just
I brought this up on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I brought this up on Friday with Monday when we were recapping the Rams game. Just I don't understand like what this guy does. Like essentially, like you have two stud receivers. I think for just like the sake of argument, most people would agree that if Matt Stafford's not the first, he's the second best quarterback in the NFC. Yeah. And you can't even put like a functioning offense on the field week in and week out. They should have lost to the Patriots. It seems like they struggle every week to kind of like to get points. If it's not Cooper Kupp down there somewhere, just like flinging it, or like Puka's down there, there's no just like scheming. It seems like he's kind of just riding his talent, but he's not like helping them succeed, I guess, like he did with that Gurley team, that run game he had. It seems like he's kind of gone backwards as well. And no one says anything about it. It's kind of interesting. It's like everyone's just so infatuated, like high on his own like cologne. Like he can name a play from like 2015, like 2009, like 3rd and 2, like, oh, I could do this. But what's your success in this league? Like you have such a talented roster, like at least on the offensive side of the ball. Kyron Williams is fine. Good running back. Like you saw what he did to the Niners. And I don't know, like you feel like they should be better. Like every week it's like the media's, here comes the Rams, and they fall flat on their face. Got embarrassed by Philly. They're clearly not on the same level as Philly. And people are still trying to talk themselves into them. So I mean, I can't understand either. I'd prefer Shanahan over him for sure.
So this is what I'll say. I don't know who Sean McVay slept with in the media to get this kind of hype around him, but it's really crazy because I'm a Bill Simmons podcast listener, and Peter Schrager goes on there almost every week just to give a little 5-minute story about McVay and why he's such a genius. When we really look at it, when have the Rams ever had a team where you're like, oh my God, this team is badass? Not really ever. I mean, you had that
maybe one year, but like that 1 year they won because they faced Kyle and Kyle blew it.
Exactly. So the first time they made the Super Bowl, in all honesty, they should have lost that game to New Orleans. It was the worst call I've ever seen that allowed them to even make it to the Super Bowl. Then you just get undressed by Bill Belichick. I mean, I think they only put up 3 points. That was one of the most high-flying offenses, I think, in a while. The over-under for the game was around 50, like, what was it, like 53, 58? You put up 3 points. You embarrass yourself. You don't get back onto the scene until you get Matt Stafford, who, in all honesty, is probably
Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly. I mean, you just stack your team, F them picks, right? Just like basically just like go all in for a Super Bowl. You get matched up against Kyle Shanahan, who, in all honesty, blew it. We blew it. We were up 10. We should have won that game. And then against the Bengals, you just get a perfect matchup in the Super Bowl against the Bengals. Another questionable call late in that game on that 3rd and 5 holding that gave you the win. So I feel like it's really just like, I don't know if he's like a media plant, but Sean McVay is a good coach. I'm not going to say he's a bad coach, but the fact that you're putting him up there with Andy Reid and like they were talking about his Amazon potential contract if he's going to be a broadcaster, like $25 million. Why? I mean, I get the dude. I don't know. I really don't like his personality either. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I watched that Sunday conversation that he had with Caleb Presley, and it was cringy, man. It was cringy. So
can I say one
I agree
thing?
with you. I think that McVay has gotten a little too much credit for what he deserves.
Coming into last season too, like people were saying, like, should he retire? Like, why would he want to coach this team? Like, is he burnt out? When the fuck have you ever heard that for any other coach? Like, should he want to coach this team? Like, who do you think you are? Like, I get it.
It's like, because this team sucks. And when Stafford retires, it's going to really suck. Like, what is the future with the Rams? They suck.
That's what I mean. It's it's like the media is just trying to like get that narrative out there before the Rams crumble. And it's like, oh, wow, maybe this guy's not that good when he doesn't have one of the best quarterbacks of the past 15 years.
Literally the best player in football in Aaron Donald.
Exactly. So
It's because you don't have fans. You don't have like a strong media calling him out. Like you don't have like
Exactly.
first things first shouting out Grant Cohn. Like, oh, he said this, said that. Like they don't
Yeah,
have
where's
that
the Rams
presence.
guy who gives him hell? Who is that guy?
It doesn't
Exist?
exist. No, it doesn't.
Wow.
He's
exist.
probably at the beach right now getting some.
All right, well
sunburn.
then let's do it. I got more to say about Sean McVay. So like he brought in Stafford. That worked, but to do it, he had to trade Goff and 2 first-round picks to the Lions. And it felt like he was doing it because they had like some type of personal beef. It's like, I'm going to ruin your career. You want to go against me, Jared? You're going to go to freaking Detroit. It's like, okay, you just set up like the dynasty in the NFC right now, because not only do they have Goff, they ended up getting Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, all because of freaking his generosity. And then there's another team that he set up. Who's the other freaking team that he set up? Oh, so he had this linebacker, Ernest Jones, and he traded him to Tennessee for no reason and didn't even explain it. Traded him for like a 6th-round pick. Then a few months later, the freaking Seahawks trade a 4th-round pick to get him, and now he's balling, and the Seahawks are better than the Rams. Like, what was that? He's an even bigger dictator than Kyle. If you have any type of disagreement with Sean McVay, you're freaking out of there, and he'll send you the worst team in the league to spite himself.
You know,
Crazy.
So thank God you brought up that Jared Goff point, because how happy was the entire NFL last year in that wild card playoff game when Jared Goff put it right back to Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. And even to start this year, they did it again. Jared Goff, I'm telling you guys, I'm a big Eminem guy. I think that Jared Goff's the #1 guy, if not Dan Campbell, in Detroit. They love him. I couldn't be happier for Jared Goff, like Grant brought up earlier. Bay Area guy. And a lot of people earlier gave credit to Sean McVay for what he did with Jared Goff, like he saved him. Maybe Jeff Fisher was just one of the most bumbling, idiotic coaches of the past 15 years. I mean, look what he's doing in Detroit. So the fact that a lot of people try to give Jared Goff success and put it on the fact that Sean McVay kind of facilitated that, really just showing right now what he's doing in Detroit, that may not be the case either. So good for Jared Goff.